Hey guys, what's up? It's Melody, and today is a really good day because the sun is shining bright. I don't know, I just feel like I'm in a really good mood today. And Pat is laying on the floor and she is in absolute heaven. She's been doing so well because she really likes the sun. So today we're going to be talking about organization, and I try to do a video like this every 3 months or so because I get in the mood for organization every 3 months because I lay down all my list of things that I have to do. I roughly map out the next 3 months just so I have an idea of where I'm headed, and it's good to take stock. And maybe 3 months isn't perfect for you, maybe every month is perfect, but periodically it's good to take stock of where you're headed and how you're doing, because when we design our list of things that we want, we're designing it with limited data, obviously, and as we're progressing, we're running into roadblocks and things like that, and we're going to have to find solutions to those roadblocks. So if something's been on your list for a long time, 3 months expires and it's still on your list, for instance, if you want to become a minimalist and that's on your list, and you're running into a lot of problems, then you have to go back and look over and think about what is preventing me from making more progress, quicker progress, any of those things, and analyze and then redraw it up again. But besides that, your goals change as you go along every 3 months or so, and so you want to refresh your list. So I got my list here, and the reason why I like doing these videos is because I get better at organizing. Every year I get better at it, and I really know what works for me and how to push myself to get as much as I want to get done. So that's why it's always good to have a notebook, and you guys know that I love this particular notebook. I'll link it down below because it's customizable, and that's really important to me. But the first thing that you want to do is you want to reset. So you want to have your page. Preferably you have everything on one page, all your goals on one page, and then on the second page you might have some notes to yourself about things not working out, or tips to try, or strategies to try to get you to do the things that you want to be doing. So for instance, I would like to be reading more, and last 3 months I hadn't read as much as I wanted to, and so I thought about it. I came to my list and I thought about it. How can I get myself to read more? Now you can do practical things like get a Kindle, for instance, which really helps me. Using a Kindle, keeping it nearby, keeping it visual. You can do practical things like that, but also think about it also what's keeping you from reading. So for me, what's keeping me from reading is that I read too slowly because I'm trying to really understand in depth everything that I'm reading, and then it takes too long. So what I've just done, this is my new strategy, is I read very quickly through a book, and if I really like the book, I'll go back over it again another time. But that way I don't feel pressure to go through it really slowly. And this is a way better strategy because some books I don't end up liking. I just wasted a lot of energy trying to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. So this way is a far better strategy. So when you're drawing up your list and when you're running into roadblocks for the past 3 months for your goals, you have to think about what are practical ways you can make it happen. For instance, making it visual or putting it using a Kindle. Those are practical things. And then think about strategy-wise, what's holding you back? Is something really unenjoyable? Is there a way to make it more enjoyable? So there's always a way. There's always something you can do. Think really creatively. There's something that you can tie. You can tie habits together so that when you do one habit, you have to do the next one after. So you can do flossing, and you can do another habit that you do at night all together. Therefore, it triggers you to remember. There's lots of strategies so that you can make it happen. So the reason why you want to have a list of goals is because a lot of times we just go through life and we're just work ethic. Work ethic is good. Discipline is good. But then we're just running in circles because we're not moving toward any area that we'd like to be. We're just treading water. A strategy is really important, or a 3-month plan is really good because you know you're headed in you know the trajectory that you're heading on. So when you're working, you don't feel like you're just on a treadmill spinning through circles. You're actually going in some way that will benefit your life. And every day you wake up, you have to make a decision. We all have to make decisions. You have to weigh things out and make judgment calls that some activities are better than other activities. So when you have a map, then you keep an eye on what is really truly your values, because it's hard to remember what your values really are. When you wake up in the morning and you just step out of bed, you're not going to think, I would like to make this home improvement. I think that this would make maximum happiness. That's why you want to have a map, because when you have a map, then it's always in front of you, and then you know where you're headed, and then you know it's not in vain because it's in line with what you really want. So when you're designing these 3 months, it's important that you really separate what you really want and what is expected of you, because those two things are not the same often. And what is expected by you can be from society, it can be from family members, especially family members. Everyone has their own own agenda, and part of being a part of a society is merging your agenda with other people in society's agenda. You want to make sure though that you have a little spot for you, that you're actually going in a direction that you would like to be going, and then it's meshing well with everybody else's considerations. A lot of people, my mom for instance, they can spend so much of their time taking care of everybody else and looking after everybody else, and I don't know if that's you, but if you have kids and you have your husband or whatever your situation, your wife, if you're a stay-at-home parent and you are dealing with all these things, make sure you make time for you to take care of yourself. So when you're designing your list, you want to look around for easy improvements in the house. Environment affects mood. Environment is very important, and also it's a good place to start building discipline, because when you build discipline in your environment, it's a lot easier to tackle the inside because everything's in order. So you know you can do it because you can see it in front of your face. Everything's organized. So it's a good place to start. So for me, I wanted to trim my plant, which I just did because it was taking over the whole dining area, which, let me just say, I have a cap on plants because there's only so many plants I can be taking care of at once, and I have a cap on how big plants can grow, because when they're taking over the kitchen or taking over the dining area, that's a cap. I trimmed my plant, and I also have a DIY project that I've been meaning to get to with some string and a hoop, which you guys will see that on Instagram. So if you haven't added me on Instagram, definitely add me on Instagram, because I'm working on that DIY project. But I'm working on that project, and then I'm going to move on to painting. And I haven't been painting as much as I want to, partly because I've been reading a lot, but also because my paints aren't left out. So in the next month, I'm going to have my paints in this corner of the dining room table ready to go, and that will encourage me to paint more. But that's in my strategy. That's in my little section on this goals page for new strategies that I can try so that I can meet my goals more effectively. So there's always newer strategies that you can try. Some things really hard for you to do, think outside of the box for a new solution to make it a bit easier on yourself. The next thing that I do now is I have things broken down. For instance, I have a wish list and it's about 10 things long, but on this particular goals page, I will just have three things that I want to get, and when those three things expire, then I'll put 3 more things here. But in other words, don't put your whole wish list on this page or all the travel destinations that you want to be traveling to, because it's just going to bog you down with details, and you want to focus on what's immediately in front of you. So these goals lists should be a 3-month thing, and it's your immediate goals. On my Pinterest, I have my whole wish list, and on my Pinterest, I have more of an extensive dreams list, but I don't want to get bogged down with all of that. I can get to that later. I'm just going to put down what is immediately in front of me right now. So on this list, I have my immediate appointments I need to get to, which shouldn't be too extensive. Find a way that you can consolidate that, if there's any way you can consolidate that. There will be sometimes in every 3 months where I will only have 1 appointment total. That's ideal. There's a quote that says, instead of trying to figure out how to make your ends meet, figure out how you can have fewer ends. You want to get to less chores, less possessions to take care of, instead of running yourself ragged. And then as you move on from one hobby to the next hobby, you know, for instance, if you have a lot of hobbies like me, you don't need a lot in each category because you're only focusing narrowly on those. If you have 2 hobbies that you spend all your time on, you can have a lot more stuff, but be reasonable. You only want to own what you can use and what you love. You want to own all the hobby equipment in the world if you only have time for 2 hobbies. You write down your wish list. When you write things down, keep it small and specific. Keep it small and specific. Appointments. So appointments are one side. On the right side is all the things that I enjoy doing. Things like road trips, going out to look at the stars. The reason why I write these things down is because if I don't write these things down, I won't make time for them. I want to make more smoothies, for instance, so I have these things that I always like doing that is easy for me to do. And then down below I have specifically my wish list that I would like to be working on, some painting ideas that I would like to paint, and then a few strategies that I can try, so about 5 of them that will enable me to meet my goals better. So that's the list of my goals, and your goals should fit on one page, and then on the second page you can elaborate if you want. I really want to have it on one page because this is right next to me on my desk, and then I can just pull it aside and look at it, and I know exactly what appointments, what goals I need to get to, and every day I'm getting a little bit done. It just makes me feel so good to know that I'm progressing a little bit. Even on days that I feel bad, I get a little bit done because I know that the way that life happens, especially as you get older, you know this, it ebbs and it flows. That's just the natural thing. Your mood goes up and down, life goes up and down, and so you want to keep discipline and keep faithful in the down times, because it's eventually going to go back up again. And then you have something to show for all those other times because you were just plodding along. The last thing I have to say is, in the midst of going after your goals, you want to make sure that you enjoy yourself. That's why on this page I have things I really enjoy, like biking and road trips and things like that, because you want to make sure that you enjoy yourself. And more importantly, when you're going through these goals, you don't want to rush through them. You want to enjoy the process. So if you're decluttering, enjoy that process and be mindful while you're doing it. If you're putting on your makeup, enjoy the feeling of putting on your makeup. Feel the sensation of it going on your skin. Don't just skip through things and try to get to the end result, because it's just stressful for yourself, and then you might stress other people out. Basically, keep your goals specific and be realistic and break them down, and also have a trajectory every 3 months. Have a trajectory of where you're headed, and when you're getting down to your goals, when you're finally funneling them down onto your 3-month trajectory, you have to start getting really specific. The gist of it is to live life intentionally, and life gets so much brighter because it's in line with your values, and it's also in line with the things that you enjoy. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it an upvote, and I'll see you all next Sunday in the next Minimalist and Organization video.